Hey, everybody. Welcome to Karandrin Role Playing. This is episode 85 of Brise's Tale. My name is Kevin Manus Giddings, also known as Cracked Palantir. I will be your host and game master for this exciting episode, and my buddy Max is here, thankfully, to play the Paladin Brise in Brise's Tale. Say hello to the folks.
Hey everybody, hope you're doing good tonight. I don't know. I hope we do the scat intro to make sure we start the recording on time and everything. But on the last note, you would your chin jiggled a bit. I'm like, I hope it caught that in the record. That's really funny.
My family is very jowly. My dad had the same beautiful fat waddle. It's gorgeous.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's you look like a jazz musician. Could
I think so. That's the
I guess
goal.
scat and jazz, are they the same? I don't know.
They're adjacent. They're adjacent,
Nice.
and I am always scat adjacent, and scatologically so as well. So yeah, it's episode 85. We had quite a bit of success, or at least Brise did, in terms of undermining this growing cult of the Iron Empress. So you raided a member's house who was just this wealthy winemaker in town, the most prosperous woman named a goblin female named Anleb. We are in a goblin region of my world. You basically raided her in dressed as priests of the local temple, and you basically terrified her into giving up the members of the cult, and you got a list of names, and you did this all with the help of an old retired adventurer and priest named Gabris, who had his own suspicions that there was a cult, working, at work in the town. And so this midnight raid, went pretty well without a hitch. There was one NPC adventurer who you guys had hired. She took a fall off the roof and is now recovering. You guys were able to rattle her, get the names, get out. But you did find that you were followed.
Yes.
Because we know that a local, I thought I'd done one for Brashla. That's fine. So we know that a local brothel owner and sort of minor crime lord in the town named Brashla is also involved in the cult. Tell us about Brashla and his involvement, and I'm going to bang out a caption for him. So,
where to start with Brashla? Well, we know he's owner of many prominent brothels in town, and he was a member of the cult, and we have evidence that he was planning a takeover of the cult himself, and then kind of use it for manipulate his political influence in Balabry. And so we got to it before him, basically. But of course, he probably already had a lot of spies and influence in the cult already. So we've had a couple run-ins with his, people loyal to him, and we think someone definitely from his group knows something is going on at the house. I guess we don't know how long they followed us, or if they, waited outside the whole time and watched us leave. We don't know any of that. So,
right.
It's possible they just saw us in the streets and maybe saw Brise and tailed them because of that.
Right.
So we decided as a group to kind of wait it out one more day. We'll stay in the Adventuring Guild is where we're staying. Stay there for one more day and see if anything shakes up or catch any people maybe spying on us, or whatever fallout comes of
right.
of it.
Right. Yeah, back some. Oh man, that's nice. Sorry, I've always had trouble.
You look so much thinner.
There was some comment about my weight earlier from my good buddy Max, and I thought, yeah, I thought we had a good relationship, but I guess not now. That's fine.
After 85 episodes.
It's
So
finally
we're 80,
cracked.
84. I got 84 and a
No,
half.
we're 85. This is 85.
This is 80.
Yeah. So there you go. So they are concerned that Brashla is, since he was trying to take over this cult for his own purposes and become its leader. We also have the issue that we should mention, which is there's a sense that there's someone else behind the cult who's truly the power behind the cult named
Right.
Ordia,
Right.
ORDIA, and we don't have a lot of information on that person. And so you also had a conversation with the Triodos, right?
Right. And
Triodos.
yeah, what's going on in the Vetch is that the Philistan, this race of undead halflings, is plotting to build power or to increase their influence through some dark power sorcerer. We think a sorcerer by the name of Chelbrick. And so the Trinidas, the Fae of that valley, they're kind of protectors of it, or at least some protectors of it, teleported to me and told us that not much, they haven't made much progress, thankfully. But there are, growing or at least tensions that still exist between the Trinidas and the people of the valley. Arvidal, the halfling who's kind of trying to be diplomatic with the Philistan, is not making much progress either. So a little grim over there in that part of the world, which I guess isn't far away. It's just a few days away of travel. So
yeah, I mean it's difficult to get to just because of the not a lot of easy roads to it. Right. But in terms of as the bird flies, yeah, it is not that far away, and it's going to be interesting. Things in Karandrin, they don't go away unless you just sort of ignore them. I mean, like I keep tabs on them, right? And let them run. And so, this could be an issue when you're level 50 and you're like, you know what, I'm tired of worried about this thing. And you just go down there and kick ass at level 50,
Maybe. Yeah, just for until like the next year, they're just like, yeah, they still haven't made much progress. They're just, still out there. I'm like, all right, it's time to go.
Well, before we get started, I should have prefaced this before I had you give us an intro, and I apologize for that. This is our second anniversary of streaming.
Right.
Karandrin is now 2 years old, 85 episodes in, so we're maintaining a pretty good consistency here, and Brise's streamiversary, as Max coined the term, is actually tomorrow. He was our second player who joined. Our buddy Josh retired from streaming, so happy streamiversary to you, and and we'll celebrate every year. We'll have a little reminder, and so it's kind of fun. All right, so where are we in time and the day?
And I believe it's very early morning. I just spoke with the Trinidas, after waking up and getting breakfast. So, pretty early morning. What time did I wake up? Woke up like at dawn, I believe.
So had your conversation. So head to the common room and any word.
Wait around for our other adventurers. I guess most of the day will kind of be, we'll see what the idea is, but I'll probably hang around here. Just kind of keeping an eye out for any suspicious activity.
Right. So, no one else is up. That is of your group. You throw 3 copper down for a meal and eat and just kind of bide your time. There are other adventurers around. You actually approached during your wait. Roll for me.
80.
And again,
50.
So give me 2 more.
All right. This is how much gold I'm going to get from this guy. 64 and 59.
So slovenly dressed guy, but he's got a chain shirt on, armed somewhat, but they're just all, sheathed and what have you. He's clearly pretty young, skinny, scrawny guy.
A human?
Huh?
A human?
Yeah.
Okay.
He approaches you, and he's, clearly kind of nervous and so on. And he kind of waits to be acknowledged, by you to approach.
What is it you have to say to me?
I'm fairly new.
I'm just kidding.
Fairly new to all of this. I'm seeking directions. I'm following a map that seems to be fraudulent, but I'm still curious about an item, an element to the map. I'm hoping that it's real, even though the map led me false. It is supposedly a set of waterfalls called the Arches of Zim. And I'm wondering if you know their whereabouts or have ever heard of them.
I tell him I haven't heard of any waterfalls called that. Ask if they're in this area or, in Nargas at all.
According to the map, they were supposed to be just north of here, just beyond the farmlands. But I've spent a good week in the valleys north of here. I find nothing matching the notes on the map. It's supposed to be a series, getting narrower and narrower instead of a series of caves. But the first of the waterfalls is viewable from the valley. And then as you travel past each waterfall, you come closer and closer to a distant land. And the waterfalls are sort of granting you passage to it.
I mean, we could just alter the roll to see if Brise knows about anything like this from her readings.
There was a reference that you recall in a conversation with an adventurer some time ago. It didn't have a name that he was aware of, but he encountered a strange being coming the other way through a series of 3 waterfalls. The being was sort of like a humanoid turtle. It had a shell on its back, but it was very small, too small than for, like, you wouldn't really think of a, it covered maybe half his back. It didn't cover his lower back, but he also had bits of shell on the ends of his elbows. But the creature was injured, and so instead of pressing on, he decided to help this creature out. And the creature seemed very insistent that they move the other way down the tunnel. as though they were being pursued. So, but that was on the mountains on the other side of the desert where he had this encounter.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell this this young man that, and see if it rings any bells. To mention that it wasn't, not in the location your map's talking about.
And he nods appreciatively, um, and takes out a couple of gold and sets it on the table. Thanks you for your time. Is there anything you would like to ask him? I know he's less experienced than you, but how these things go.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I will ask him if he. I am going to some catacombs soon, and I do ask him if he's come across any items that allow you to see in the dark, any magic items. Has any on him? Knows of any? What's my mithril left? I still got 4 mithril. Okay.
So give him a mithril for his answers.
Oh no! I was saying if I have to buy something, it would be cool if I could trade or find one. Give him mithrils. This is worth not much.
Exactly.
Get him in a really bad situation.
Let me see what he knows.
He says he's new to adventuring, but if he spent weeks in the hills, then he must be level 9 already. maybe he was just chilling out in people's houses or
something. He had a conversation with a fellow adventurer some weeks ago, who was showing him his. They were sort of just discussing what items they had come across, and he had a powerful magic item called the Bag of Midnight. And that just owning the bag, just having the bag on your person, did away with any problems with seeing in the dark, as well as having the ability to reach into the bag and throw bolts of darkness.
He mentions that another adventurer told him about it, not that he had it on him.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, then I'll let him go on his way if he doesn't have anything else to ask.
He bows and heads back to a table with 3 other adventurers.
Mm-hmm. How much gold did he give me?
2.
2 pieces. Okay.
I only deal in mithril. Knock it from the table.
I'm kind of new to this. Is this a gold or a mithril?
That's right.
It's gold. Give it to me.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just keep eating my breakfast and wait for others to arrive.
So Nualar comes down, a female orc.
Mm-hmm.
She seems careworn. She gestures to you and then orders some breakfast and comes and sits down. She asks if you and she, or if that's all that's up right now.
Yep. Right now we're the early risers.
She said, "I had no updates under my door. Did you?"
No, me neither. Which I guess is good news.
She nods. The food is, brought over. Um, Eventually, everyone but Felrune and Gabris are down. Um, but it's been a good hour. People are sort of getting up late from the late night, and
Right.
and or from hunger, and um, what is her ability? Yes, she probably. Nualar says that now that she feels better about the way that Felrune's leg and arm are set. She's going to hope that her magic can heal her.
Okay.
She'll just be sore today and can participate in whatever needs to be done.
Right.
Haldry, our female goblin, who's a decent lockpick, we've learned, is she's just clearly anxious, and she's like, we got to know what Brashla is up to. We have to find out what he's, what he knows, and we have to find out, we have to be ready for some sort of payback if they track us here.
Yeah.
Lorgresh, our dwarf, was it? Lorgresh had the
cat.
Yeah, was it Lorgresh?
Yeah.
The cat? Yeah.
Cat familiar. Yeah.
Lorgresh says we could eat and go. Haldry,
Yeah.
you and I.
I was going to say that too. No need to stick around if you feel uncomfortable. However, if you do, I also say, however, if you do stick around, then you'll have protection, right? We're all under the same kind of
threat,
in the same situation. Yeah. So, do what you wish.
Problem is, I don't know that there's only one person in the group who knows what Brashla looks like to be able to really spot him.
Does that person want to speak?
No, because they're unconscious and asleep.
Oh.
It's Gabris. He's upstairs asleep.
Oh, I see. That's what you mean. Yeah.
So they, they're just content with their meals and so on, and Lorger says, "I'm going to send my cat out." I should just give it a name because she wouldn't keep referring to it as the cat. To see if there appears to be anybody watching the front of the place.
I'll do the same with Milani. I'll cover the high ground.
So you go over and just open the door. You send Milani out.
Familiar Milani.
And the cat goes out. I'm going to call the cat.
Addie.
No, I was actually thinking Maddie.
Maddie the cat.
That's it.
Maddie the mad cat.
That's right. And so off they go. You come and sit down. You can tell that Lorgresh is already concentrating. You do a, quick once around the building. There is a suspicious character at every corner of the building.
Okay.
You tell them, Lorgresh is like, I see the front two, and I've got two across the alleyway. Watching the front. Um, Haldry glances over at the innkeeper and is like, I wonder if we've been sold out while we were asleep.
Mm.
Takes out a dagger, says, I'm going to go find out.
Mm. Okay.
You can stop them.
I say, well, I'm thinking what to do too. I put a hand on the arm. So let's wait for Gabris. Okay, he's the one who knows Brashel the most. I say quietly, and I think it's better that we all at least ask him what he thinks of this.
Nular is even more firm with him and grabs her and says, you're not going to put us in danger when my sister can't flee.
Mm.
And, Haldrid's like, fine, go tend to your sister. We don't know when this is going to come down.
Mm.
Turns to you and says, go wake Gabris.
All right, that's fair.
Gabris, wakey.
You're not gonna like this.
That's right.
To wake someone and tell them bad news is just the worst, you know. Probably like the first thing they're like not even conscious.
Hey, Gabris.
House is on fire.
We're gonna die.
So yeah, I go up to his room and give it a few firm knocks. Kind of
You can hear him snoring. He stirs.
Guy who likes coffee so much. he's in a caffeine crash.
That's it. We had this elementary school teacher. It was very sweet. She wasn't one of my teachers, but she was just in the school, and her name was Mrs. Gaffney. And she, every now and then, she would try to quit Dr. Pepper. And it would just go around the school like, okay, she's trying it again. Brace yourself. Mm-hmm. She's going to be grumpy without her caffeine. It was just so funny. Like, I remember at least 4 times during my elementary school years. Okay, here comes the tornado, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Is it that time of the month? No, not that. I mean, they're off pepper.
Or attempt to get off caffeine. Oh my gosh. So
okay.
He stirs. He's like, a moment. You hear movement. The door opens. He sees you, becomes concerned. What's the matter?
So there's a bad news. There's 4 people outside at each corner.
6.
6.
Sorry, 2 across the street, and then right. 1 in each corner of the building.
Say all that. Probably Brashless men. I think someone might have sold us out in the evening while we were asleep. We're not sure. But we're all downstairs.
He asks about Faroon, how she is.
And say her sister Nular was planning to heal her today. The bone is set well, she thinks.
She says, give me a few minutes.
Okay.
That's the door. You hear it latch.
I'll go back downstairs with everyone else.
We know the innkeeper here, don't we? We know. We've rolled them up, haven't we?
There was a half troll, I thought, who was at the door, like verifying the badge. This is the Eternal Lantern.
I can search for there.
Yeah. He was like checking badges.
Telwick, yeah.
After and keep Telwick, that's right.
Yep. He was the today.
Very large. That's what I wrote down
Yeah,
next to
he is. Man, he is so big. Where is?
He's oh yeah.
Okay. Huh, that's interesting. It's really funny. His goals. Um, he's a. I mean, he's huge, right? But
Mhm.
one of his big goals is safety, and I think that's hilarious.
Oh, maybe it's like other people's safety. Like, oh, come here. He wraps his arm around.
We can only hope. Um, so Gabrus joins you guys downstairs. Um, um, he looks around. He says, "Where's New Alar?" And you guys are like, probably still healing the sister.
Mhm.
Um, and um, Haldry's like, "Let's go put the knife to that troll and find out how much they paid him." And Gabrus, says, "I don't know what think your dagger's going to do to something that large."
Yeah.
I'll just ask if anyone has asked about us. I'll get my read on him, huh? And he gets up, and you're like, Gabrus really is used to just commanding. So there's
Yeah.
clearly a sense of
The
just.
leader. Yeah.
He goes over there. You see them chatting. It seems to be going very amiably. There's even laughter. Um,
We should do too. So I guess if they brought that many people, they're expecting to fight. They're obviously not going to track us with.
well, but the thing is, if there are back entrances, it may not be a matter of fighting, right? It's just that they definitely want to see who's
Yeah.
coming and going. So it's hard
Yeah.
to tell.
Yeah.
Um,
So I was thinking, like, if they tail us, like, we just leave and teleport those of us that can, and take the others with us.
right. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
they have a problem trying to really track you.
Right.
And so, um,
I mean, I'll suggest that while Gabrus is gone, just say, like, we did it last night. We just need enough people who can teleport, and they can't track us wherever we go.
but you
And then
guys
if
teleport from the alley, right? You can't teleport from inside.
right, but it's okay if they follow us, part of the way for a few blocks, turn into an
Right.
alley and teleport.
Haldry says that means we need to stay in groups assigned to the teleporter.
Right.
He says, "Could you take New Alar and the sister?"
Absolutely.
And then that would leave Gabrus to take basically everybody else. Brellock, the human, um, says, "I can use my arts and learn what I can about these people at the corner."
It's fair. You can see what they're armed with, maybe.
Well, I mean, you could do that with
Nalani, true.
Milani. Yeah.
Yeah, I will do that if Nalani's still outside. Just
Yeah. Just, yeah.
see if I can get a little closer.
At least clubs and daggers on the front of their belt, nothing that would alarm the police, but definitely heavier stuff on the back hidden under a cloak for both the front two. The back two, there's no good angle to see what's at their back. Only daggers on the back, on the ones in the back. Hard to see what they have behind them because they're leaned up against the wall.
I'll share that information too. Is that it sounds like they plan to follow us, maybe split us up, and then take us on.
Gabrus returns. Um, you tell him, these guys are armed, definitely. And Gabrus says, Telwick was definitely offered money for anything unusual that happened last night. And even though he has a deal with Brashla to send business his way, he makes it a rule not to sell anybody out here. And I believe him. Apparently, Brashla's men were looking for one of their men who disappeared in this area, and that must be the guy that we jumped last night and killed.
Right.
So he told them no one came in late last night, or if they did, he was napping at the desk. And he's willing to offer us 10 gold apiece if we were to cancel our reservations for the next couple of weeks. I told him I would talk it over with you, and I don't think it's the worst idea. You guys explained the whole thing about
trying to leave and teleport once we turn into an alley.
And staying together in groups.
Right.
Gabrus suggests that we all pack our things, take the gold, and then teleport to his cottage. And the way that you've grouped everybody up is perfect because the two teleporters have been to my cottage.
Right. No, the cottage, yeah. Okay, that works.
So said we'll wait for Falrune and Nualar, and then I say we make good our escape.
All right, sounds good. I'm thinking through other options, but sounds fine. So I guess there's a possibility that some more spies are hidden. We don't know that, but I don't know if there's any other.
Well, Brashla is going to have relationships. Gabrus tells you at every inn.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking if there's 6 people, right? Like that's not too much of a threat. That's kind of one for each of it. Well, I guess one with the broken leg doesn't count.
Right. But Gabrus is no slouch.
That's true.
And frankly, neither are you.
Yeah.
And you've got a bird and a cat that can distract one person easily.
This is what you want, Kevin, right? It's like it's scary even just against like 6 like henchmen. I'm like, man, what if I break a leg?
Sure. I mean, all it
They
takes
have
is
something up their sleeve. Yeah.
well, and that's the real benefit of this over, say, a D&D based system is like, I mean,
Right.
as much as it was funny for Howder to go after that troll with a dagger, the Enroll Master, just as in life, no, that dagger can cut,
Gonna do nothing.
and I mean, it can hit an artery and they're gone.
Oh, right. Right.
There was a Law and Order that I think my buddy Josh was telling me about, and the murder was. Guy came out of a bathroom stall. Guy walked up behind him, nicked him in the leg with a scalpel, and walked off. And the guy was dead in like 90 seconds because
Wow.
the murderer had medical knowledge and just nicked his femoral artery inside of his thigh. And
Oh my God.
he was
No.
unconscious and 90 dead in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes,
Wow.
and that's it. And that's that's the great thing about having a system of criticals in a game is
Right.
it really. I mean, you can't.
That-
Yeah, you can't take any combat for granted. Um, so, a few
Go outside, they're all armed with scalpels. Oh no.
kind of, and what are all these bathroom stalls doing here? What are the odds of that? That is not. I've got a bit of a floating head thing here, don't I, with this shirt? And I was just noticing that. Hello. Okay, all right. So Falroon comes in. Also, she's sore, and you can tell she didn't sleep well with all the pain that she had. They get her food. You guys explain everything. Everyone is largely in agreement, and then we can regroup and revisit at the thing. So it's very interesting. So Brellock has been sitting there murmuring spell after spell after spell. And he's clearly weary of, he's taking a toll on him,
Right.
He said, I've been reading the mind of this goblin at the front corner.
Wow.
They don't know to look for us.
Okay.
Apparently, the information they have is look for anyone looking bloodied or disheveled.
Mm.
And I have a memory of him receiving instructions from Brashla. They are sort of looking for you and Gabris. But I figure if your hood's pulled down low enough, we could probably just walk out of here. Falroon, tired, rubbing her arm with, tallish female orc. She says, I can't say that running appeals to me, but they wouldn't get a good look at us if we just hired a coach. Get the keep to summon a coach for us. Then me and my sister and Brise, we can take the coach to wherever we want.
Right. And teleport to the cottage.
Gabber should probably come with us. It'll be just a short walk in.
Mm-hmm.
Lorgresh says, we could meet you somewhere and then teleport. That'd be 4 people in the coach. Gabber says there's not going to be many coach services in a town this small, but we can try. Gabbers gets up, goes and talks to Telewick. And comes back and says there's only one coach service in town. They do have a covered coach.
Okay.
It's on the way. Time to pack up your rooms.
All right. Good
New
plan.
Alar, of course, just pats Felrin on the back and says she'll take care of it. Goes to their room. Everybody gets up and goes, packs stuff. They in turn each go to Telewick, as well as you, get their 10 gold.
Nice. He kind of meant, what he meant by that is just kind of stay out of the, the Adventurers Guild for a few weeks.
2 weeks would be,
2 weeks. He
and you could, you came back 10 days later, pay a little more,
Five, 6. Excuse me. What you rolling over there?
I was rolling whether you thought to ask everybody about the Bag of Midnight.
Oh.
And you did. And they've heard of it. They do tell you it is expensive. It runs 800 to 1,200 gold. But yeah, it's pretty useful. It can, they tell you you can throw bolts of blackness from it. That you can actually create a wall of darkness out of it. They say weirdly though you can't put anything in it if you want to use the magical parts of it.
Oh, well,
no one has one on them, or at least you've got a price range to aim for. Oh, excuse me. All right, everyone packs up. Carriage arrives.
out of here.
So you, Gabris, and the 2 orc sisters are going to go.
Right.
So that, because you guys are the ones that they do have some sense of what they look like.
Right.
You and Gabris, that is. So they're going to go to Mullia's Marbles, and
good idea.
And they're giving, everybody who doesn't know figures out, gets directions as to where it is.
Right.
And then and he says, we're going to take a roundabout way so that 2 groups don't leave going the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's, wishes them luck, and Grabris and Nualar cast a couple of spells on Felrune to make her more mobile. And you recognize one of them clearly as a blessing on her that gives her basically, it makes for her to do anything easier. Essentially, in mechanical terms, a bonus to every one of her rolls.
Right.
Um,
Officially banned in the Karandrin Olympics.
I know, that's very true. They do that testing. You know, you get a pee in a magical cup, and if it detects magic.
If your pee sparkles, then.
That's right. Your pee is golden. Oh. And yeah, that's the joke I like to do is if you're in a public restroom and there's a guy peeing beside you, you pee and you go, huh, that's a lot of blood. Anyway.
Yeah, that's all I know.
And so, yeah, it's all right. Let's talk about your state of readiness here. Like, what are you going to have in your hands, if anything?
Obviously, yeah, I mean, nothing. I'll just, I got my daggers in my belt, kind of ready. I'll rest my hand on it,
On what?
A dagger. I've got a dagger of, what's the name? One I typically use. Piercing dagger.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, you guys just, brave it out, walk out the door.
We'll pull down low.
Yeah. And, Gabbers pays the driver. You guys get in. Nalani reports, you were taken note of. The guys are looking and trying to, catch a glimpse of you or whatever, but no, they don't tense up or anything, and off you go.
Sweet. Have Nalani follow us and just kind of periodically look down to see if anyone's trying to keep up with the coach. I guess we're not going at a gallop, right? It's just kind of a normal.
Yeah.
Yes. If anyone's
someone on horseback does take off soon after you. But it's an elf dressed in finery. You think they just have business in the same direction. It just doesn't look, they're not very attentive, there's just not a sense of readiness about them.
Right.
So
okay.
So eventually they turn back to Mulia's and make a circuitous route of it.
Mm-hmm.
After several minutes, they arrive. You guys are let out. Notice the elven guy who was traveling, sort of in the same direction. He turned off long ago.
Yeah.
Pile out. Gabbers thanks the driver, throws him a silver or two, and off the carriage goes. The others are already there shopping.
All right.
Lord Rash says, according to Maddie, we weren't followed. Brellock says, I read the mind of one of our watchers, and there was no indication that he noticed our departure as anything but normal. There's been some discussion between me and Josh about using ChatGPT to roll up treasure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly competent at some things.
Yeah.
Especially if you give it like pretty specific categories. Yeah, like D&D treasure, it's going to give you some stuff. Yeah. Sounds fun.
Yeah. So is there anything you want to do here at Mulia's? You could at least ask about the bag, even if it's beyond your price range right now.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want? So you want to take a break right now? It seems like a logical stopping point.
Are we going to try to get to the cottage then, or are we kind of
Yes.
just?
The idea is that
Well,
we'll
let's see if we can teleport there first. 'Cause
okay. You
that was
split up into your appropriate groups after people are done browsing for a little bit. Um, it's now mid morning. Um, guys step to an alley. Um, why don't you go first?
okay. Teleporting to spot near Gabris's 47.
That's good cast and roll to aim.
Aim is 90.
No
Ooh.
problem. Boom, right by that bush um, in his front yard. Um, yeah, no problem.
All right. Well, then, cool.
And then a moment later, there's sound of voices from back behind the cottage. And, you hear Gabbers call out as they're walking around the front. And you guys call out, and people are sort of getting their bearings as you do after you teleport.
Wow.
He welcomes everybody in, says he's going to put a pot on, and we're gonna talk.
All right.
Oh, Midnight Dawn joined us. Oh, sorry,
We'll join in time for a break.
just in time for a break. So yeah, guys, give us just a second. We're going to go stretch our legs and refill our drinks, and we'll be right back with you, and we'll see what the next plan is in dealing with the cult of the Iron Empress. Hang on, we'll be right back with you. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging with us through the break. Um, there's our there's another one of our tickers that we haven't done in a while. Just makes me laugh. Um, so fine, it's enough of that. I do it to purely entertain myself. Um,
It's the little things.
all right, Midnight Dawn, we're back. Don't be mad at us. So yeah, and it was one of our quicker breaks, but I'll still just give a recap. We had our little group of adventurers led by Gabrus, the older dwarven cleric, and Brise here, just sort of slipped out of an adventuring guild out from under the nose of Brashla, um, who is who's involved in this cult that hopefully Gabrus and Brise just brought down, and so they've now teleported to Gabrus's college outside of town, um, and now they're regrouping in this cottage. This group of 6 adventurers and Brise. They all gather around this table. He's having to use buckets as seats for some people because he's not used to having so much company. He puts on some coffee and so the discussion begins about what next. Um, Clearly, Brashla is still, he's obviously not been brought down yet, or at least if he has, then the men, it hasn't trickled down to the men who are doing his bidding. Gambers admits that it's not going to take long for them to figure out that he was involved. And so he's going to deal with that as best he can. It just depends on how quickly the temples act. But he has to admit, there's no doubt that some of the priests frequent the brothels, and so he may get some sort of reprieve. But likewise, he still has some friends at the temple, and it's likely that they've told him that I'm off limits. The question is, do we follow up on Brashla and see what he's up to? And, they say, we've talked about that and so on. Brellock says, I now know what Brashla looks like from the memories of one of his henchmen. And he says, and my arts allow me to share that image with all of you if we decide to trail him and so on. And everyone kind of looks around the room, and most people are nodding yes. Gabrus, of course, says there's no need. He knows Brashla. Do you want that memory in your head?
Yeah. I mean, how ugly can he be, right?
Yeah. The answer is he's fairly ugly.
Oh, I wish I never saw him.
He's wart-pocked. His nose is crooked, even by goblin standards. He's bald and beardless. Clearly a goblin used to power. Find him. I rolled him up the other day. Middle-aged, a little thin, dresses in very plain attire. Has a couple of pieces of jewelry on him, but his clothes are just every man's clothes. It's a strange. You sort of expect to see a little finery, but he wears. He does wear a single heavy ring with a yellow stone set on it, but he's pretty distinct looking. The memory you have is of him yelling at this henchman and saying, we're going to find out what happened to Coret. I don't pay those bailiffs just to let this happen to my men. Um, there's constables. Um, you know, and so apparently this henchman was paired up with this guy that Gabrus was forced to kill, and so this individual left to report back that they had followed a couple of people here.
Right.
They didn't get a good look at them. It's just that they left Anleb's house and were followed here. And then he went and reported back, came back and found that this Koret was missing. And but you definitely have a distinct look at a very close look at him. So you're in a well-appointed office in this memory. The paneling on the walls is very high-end. You even get a smell of incense from the memory. It's a man who clearly likes his luxuries.
Yeah.
And there's no question you could recognize this guy and his voice, for that matter, from quite a distance.
Okay.
So everyone's in agreement that Brashla should be watched. Gabrus thinks, it's been several hours now. He could probably get an update from the temple itself. There's really no need for Felrune and Nualar to leave until Felrune is feeling better, and it might be helpful for someone to watch the cottage anyway. And so he asked them if they would mind just taking on that charge, and Felrune kind of snorts derisively, but well-humoredly, and says, "I never thought I'd be protecting the property of a dwarf." And Gabrus looks at her, sort of keenly.
I never thought I'd ask an orc to protect my home.
He goes, "It is a time of the gods when we are strange bedfellows," and Haldry says, "I don't like either one of you as long as I'm getting paid, though. I like you just fine." And you and Burlock are like, "We got no business." This is the great, it's the great line from Pulp Fiction. "My name's Paul, and that's all y'all." So that suggests then that you 5 will return to town and begin watching Brashla's place. You've not been to Brashla's, though?
No, never would I. I wouldn't go to Brashla's.
Max would,
but every day. No, okay, yeah. So I would ask around directions to his place. I think someone did tell me once, but they can remind me how to find him and where he's at.
It is toward the edge of town, the western edge of town, as I recall. And
it would be his home, I guess, right? He wouldn't live at his place of work.
It is possible. That's not uncommon, remember, in this time. I mean,
it's a brothel. Come on.
Well, like a lot of you would live upstairs or in the back room of your shop or whatever.
Right, for a shop or a restaurant. Tavern, yeah.
It's a tavern. It's just a tavern that needs more.
Tavern of sorts, yeah.
I went to a therapist once here. No, psychiatrist here in Dallas, and you couldn't make out everything that was being said, but you could tell that there were conversations going on the wall behind you. And I'm like, that's not a great feeling. I mean, I know I can't really tell what's going on.
Right.
But come on.
You feel like it's a one-on-one with your psychiatrist, but
Right. That murmur sounded salacious. Um, so Lorgresh says if we really wanted to surprise Brashla, we now know what the inside of his office looks like.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can tell him for right there. Wow, this is true.
Everyone just looks at her like she's insane, and she's like, just a thought.
I think that's a fun idea.
So,
Although I guess we don't know if he has protections on his place though. That would be a problem.
yeah, that's a good question. Who would he hire to do that?
No, I meant like magical protections, right?
Yes, but
Right.
yeah.
I'm sure a visiting wizard, in exchange for
In exchange for dipping his wand.
yeah, there's no magic in Karandrin yet that allows
that sex can't buy.
Still need yeah.
So Gambris will teleport you all to Brashla's.
Okay.
And then he will go on alone to the temple.
Mm-hmm.
He goes through and shuts and bolts a lot of the doors and windows. Leaves a couple open just for kind of lookout. Offers. You can tell begrudgingly offers Felrin his bed, and they kind of crack that window so she can see out. They take out their weapons and everything. I mean, they're ready to rock and roll.
I'll have my short sword out or do you mean them because they're
standing watch? Yeah, they're
okay, right.
So
our plan is to kind of stake out Brashla's place, right?
Right. So the rest of you go outside, finish some coffee and go outside. He says, you guys are welcome to come and go from here as you wish. He does tell you that town is that way through the woods. Should you need to make it through, he points out the mountain where Miagral's Keep is, and says you can sort of use that as a fix to location. Lorgresh is studying, there's a sort of a fire pit outside in the front, and Lorgresh is studying the edge of that as a place to teleport to, so as not to use your spot. So it's just.
Have you ever seen two wizards teleport to the same place at the same time?
They will have only seen it. They will have only seen it once, and then there'll be a big bang, and they'll be dead. So the group, some of them at least have hands-on weapons. Lorgresh, I forgot to roll what she uses.
I have it here. Warhammer.
No. In terms of rod, staff, or wand.
Oh, right.
So
Warhammer.
So she uses a rod,
which is a cool idea about combining like magic and weapons. I haven't seen that done too often, in a cool way.
There's a mace. There's a single magic item in Karandrin that it's the only item that allows semi-spell users to use a wand.
Oh, interesting.
It is a wand in addition to being a mace.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
That's fascinating, yeah.
So everyone, preps. What do you want to do?
I've got my short sword. I'll my hand.
Well, keep in mind too, it can be just spells. You could just prep a spell.
Prep a spell. No, I don't trust myself with that.
Well,
I fumbled the last trying to do charm spells. Well, let me just prepare for combat. All of my target shield two out and equipped.
okay. Well, he rolled a open-ended roll for his. He rolled 3 open-ended rolls for his. Wow, it probably cost him half power points and no exhaustion. There's a flash. You appear in a back alley. There's no one within sight. Gabrus uses either. Why did I not roll that up? And he shushes you guys. He creeps around the edge of the building and looks across. He straightens. He turns and he's much more relaxed. He's like, there are paladins all over the front of Brashlow's brothel.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wow. He looks at you guys. He says, the less you're involved, the better. I'll go and get a report.
Yeah, we'll chill out here.
And he goes, Karandrin says, I want to look. He creeps to the edge and peeks. And it's like, he turns back and he's like, she's nodding. She's like, it's a big to do.
Yeah. Big deal.
Oh man, no one else can resist. Jeez.
All right, well, I'll go and see. It's like the head pops around a corner, and then one at
Yeah. Yeah, there are priests and paladins. There are horses with light armor on, all carrying the symbols of the temple. There's at least one henchman who apparently was violently disarmed, and he's being tended to by a priest. He's got a bloodied arm. There are priests in very high, sort of high official robes, which that's a lot for show. It's not really for function, it's just to say this is a serious matter. And so it's to one of these priests that Gabrus addresses himself, bows to them, goblins sort of give him an icy response, icy reception. And they have a conversation and Gabrus turns back and looks. He misses you. You're still peeking, but he just doesn't see you, and he turns back and is talking and returns to you guys. He's very pleased. Just his step is light. He's got a big smile on his face. Brashla, he says as he turns the corner, is being kicked out of town.
Wow.
His
Okay.
assets are being stripped, um, and the property here is being seized. Now, in all likelihood, of course, the temple will just continue running the brothel.
Right.
Um,
They don't want like a rebellion on their hands.
well, they also don't want to lose the services.
Right. Their own. Yeah.
Um, so,
And
uh,
that's really good. We knocked out two birds with here.
yeah, I rolled like a 190 for the temple's
For
response.
how their reaction. Yeah.
Um, so it'll be interesting to see if Brashla has a hideout where he's going to, still try to make trouble and run what other criminal enterprises he may have.
Right.
Um, and so oops.
It'd be also interesting to see if there's any more info on the Iron Empress that can be found in his home. If they're already seizing him there. I kind of bring that up with Gabbers. If we could.
They have not found anything yet that suggests that the brothel was ever used for even the storage of such items.
Mm-hmm.
He has a home on the south slopes that is being seized as well, but they've not had reports back yet.
Okay.
So Gabber says, I think we consider the matter closed.
I think so too.
Um,
I would say I'm still concerned about where those items came from and Spordia is, but I don't know if we have any more leads really, besides going to the next town over and starting there.
The temple was not familiar with the name Ordia when I took Anleb to them. I
Right.
did not think to ask now, but perhaps I'll stay in town till evening and see if they get more information from his home.
Okay.
And he turns to the others and is just, he says, should we, you're welcome to stay at the cottage. You're welcome to, um, part ways. As I won't be home this evening, if you have an answer, if you intend to leave, I would, part ways with you now.
I tell him like, you know where to find me, but no,
Uh,
I'll come around. If not this evening, then sometime to see what the
shake
the
out.
rest of the outcome of their search was. Yeah.
Um, so they basically all of them say, they'll just go and get their goods and then and part ways. That everyone
Yeah.
feels like it was a worthwhile outing, um, both both a bit of fun and a bit of profit. And
Mhm.
so,
It's one of those things in Karandrin we're so used to like the kind of like all these other threads to kind of be existing, but this one closed pretty neatly.
yeah, once
So,
Brashla was, Ordia is the last sort of
right.
string that we don't know.
We know so little about them. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
But yeah, Brashla, because Brashla has, obviously he's got at least 7, 8 men in his employ, and so I was I was curious to see how that was going to shake out, but the temple response so strong,
Right.
you know.
So swift.
Yeah, I mean, to still be on your toes. You still need to know. I mean, I don't want you to forget to let Nalani really check your back
Right.
when you're in town. It's because he could certainly be looking for vengeance. Um, you know, um, and it'll be interesting, of course, to get back to the keep and see what the shakedown was from Anleb's confession and
Right.
ECHAR's involvement.
Right. ECHAR is going to be directly involved.
Yeah. So.
Quinn's surprised at our efficiency. Well, Quinn, remember we had like 5 other adventurers with us, all with specialties and different weapons and types of magic. It goes pretty well when you got a lot of skilled people on your side.
That's right. It's a lot easier when you got a temple, working on your behalf. Yeah, that's true. The whole Verilac thing did take 80 episodes, and as we know, it's close to 2 years. So, um, so, um, so you've got Lorgresh and you've got Brellock and Haldry. So, I mean, you guys could teleport them back, and then these guys could be back on their way.
Well, I guess I would ask them, where people want to go, because we could teleport them wherever they need right now. Oh wait, no, we got to go back to the cottage to grab their stuff. So yeah.
Right. That's yeah. And as adventurers, they're fine just to strike out and gradually make their way back to the town where they were stationed.
Right.
But they have all their stuff; they can go anywhere.
Right.
You're very familiar with that, that mode of operation.
Roads? Who needs roads?
That's right. Strike out. I mean, that's that settler family you came across with that Elven settler family. Remember, you gave them food.
Yeah.
They were just looking for arable land that didn't seem to have a claim on it. All right. So Lorgresh and you are going to teleport. Lorgresh, I'll go ahead and roll forward. Boom, and you're going to teleport.
Boom! That's an 80 to teleport, and a 93 to aim.
Nice. So 9 exhaustion on that. And because you did it very well.
For once in my goddamn
life. So there's all the updates and so on. Information. You've only been gone half an hour, and Felrune and Nualar are ready to kind of get out of the company of dwarves. They've done their bit for their gods, and it's time to hit the road. Nualar is walking better, seems less pained. Some discussion about who's going to go with who or whatever. And Felrune and Nualar, they're going to cut south. You warned them about the vetch. And give them a description of the Philistine and tell them they're simply not to be trifled with, and that to use just the lowest level magic they can get away with, because the Philistine are sensitive to that.
Very sensitive,
yeah. They appreciate it. They'll try to head due south and then try to cut around the vetch. they don't feel like they're really in shape to match.
Race of undead.
Yeah, um, and the other three, the Glorgresh, Bralic, and Howry, sort of, so they were not traveling together. Um, they feel like they work well together, and um, in their discussion, just while everyone's sitting around the table finishing off Gabrus's coffee, um, they have a goal that they've all been looking for off and on. Oh man! Finally, we got an advert.
Yay!
Um,
Promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, chat, bots. What? Well, they don't know grammar, unfortunately. So I say no.
so everyone asked them about it. It's 46, so it's due south. Distance. So it's in. Oh man, I forget the name of that town. Dang it. Gordovan. It's the big dwarven hold just south of the border. That there is supposedly a lost cache of um, potions that were there that got lost in a fire, got sealed off in a fire, and that could bring a pretty penny, but also it's supposed to have extraordinarily rare potions that might unlock some secrets. And so it's something they've all heard about. They haven't all been looking for it, but they're all together and they've all just came up in conversation. They're like, yeah, I've been curious about that too. And so
Cool.
that was a double ops roll for them to have something in common. And so everyone parts cordially and everyone just sets off on foot. And you're left alone.
Me, I would like to teleport. Oh yeah.
And you're just you're left with pretty good coffee and a feeling of accomplishment.
And I need to pee really badly. All this coffee. So I tell Gabrus final thanks, and I'll see him again for sure later on. But I'll walk outside and try teleporting to the keep or to the spot nearby.
Yeah. Your teleport spot. They're off the road, hidden.
So yeah, we're just gonna go back to the keep and resituate and see if anything's gone down there. I guess I'll just, the robes from Erg, I didn't think about that. The robes that were made, I guess just, kind of get rid of them, right? We don't want to keep those.
Well, I mean, they just leave them. They leave theirs at Gabrus's,
Sure, yeah. So then Ergbrigg is making hers, but I guess I'll just stay
take
there.
it and pack it away,
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll sort of all that. Let's get back to the keep.
I mean, it's a disguise that you could use.
Now, it's true. It is, yeah. I was thinking about so that's why I don't want to leave them with her at the keep, in case they're.
Yeah. I mean, you'll
take them off.
Yeah, you take possession of whatever she's got on hand. Right. Now, you do need to confront the question of whether or not, that's religiously, are you going to be okay with that? Just using it as an everyday disguise.
Right. If I want to, keep using it as a disguise.
Yeah. Like maybe it's, if I particularly feel it's in service to the gods.
Right.
But hey.
Yeah.
It is certainly going to be a well-made clerical robe for Astalin, the queen of the gods.
Right.
And so,
that's for sure. Back to the keep. So roll my teleports here.
All right, roll it.
95 to teleport.
Roll again and add it.
Plus 90. Holy smokes.
Nice.
And then a 95 to aim.
Roll again.
Plus 13.
All right. So you appear. It was only 5 exhaustion.
Very nice. Good, man. The gods are really impressed with my work here.
It feels that way. I mean,
yeah,
it does.
Yeah. It's like, wow, it's pretty great.
My boss once, he was a minister. He said something very interesting, and I can't find a flaw in the argument. He said, to the religious, necessarily you must see God's hand in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's, I can't find it, I mean.
That's something I try to think about when writing stories too,
Yeah. For you and I who are not particularly religious minded, it is for me, it's tough to adopt that.
Yes.
A similar problem I have is I'm not much for adornment. And so, but I have to realize that other people are. And so, like, when I describe a building, like, it's hard for me to want to apply adornment to it that would be symbolic or significant in some way to the owners and the builders of that. And so it's a weakness, definitively a weakness in my game mastering. And so maybe I should write an article on that. I need to get more articles up.
Yeah. It's been a hot minute.
It has been a bit. All right. So, very well executed teleport. No sign of anybody on the road. As you approach, there's clearly.
You say that cars start racing by my window. There's somebody on. Sorry,
no, it's fine. The battlements, though, clearly there's something going on. Just because you see there's more movement. Like, people aren't bored on the battlements; they're turned inward, looking at stuff. There are people having conversations on the battlements, so there's clearly something going on. So you head on up. Beyond the guards, you can see that there are temple horses in temple attire. The light guarding. They're wearing. Oh man, I looked that word up. Well, I stumbled across that word. Now I can't remember it.
Oh, I can try to find it.
The hanging thing that horses wear that show their alignment.
Saddle blanket.
No, not a saddle blanket.
But then there's the other one. And that's what I have. I have a saddle blanket. But you're right, there was another one. And I didn't write that one down because I don't have it.
Right. Dang it. I'll have to look that up.
Oh, man.
As I recall, it was similar to another word. And I was like, I wish it were a dramatically different word. I remember thinking that. Right. Oh, wait. Quinn can look this up for us while we're playing. Quinn will do that for us. Quinn loves us.
10 Karandrin points. Whoever can.
What is the cloth attire worn over horse's armor, particularly beneath the saddle?
A horse surcoat. A horse surcoat.
Essentially, I mean, that is exactly what it is. Yeah. A courser coat. You walk up. A guard steps forward and just gives you a bow, like they're clearly on best behavior. It's a goblin guard, spear, and he says, "My lady, have you seen anyone on the road?"
I say, no, I haven't.
Not Captain Ichar by chance?
Nope. Oh, no, not at all.
If you see him about the place inside the keep, you are to inform a guard immediately.
Okay. Wow.
He is considered to be armed and absolutely lethal. You
very much for the warning.
Yeah.
Comparison.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Thank you, Quinn.
Mm.
Um,
Rappers and comparisons. It's like snakes and ladders.
that's exactly it.
The medieval version of
That's
snakes.
right. So you so you're allowed entry. There are small groups of guards at attention, stationed here and there. Groups of 6 men. There are some being questioned by priests. There are some that are just standing at the ready. Um, and
Again, I want to make sure I feign like my involvement with this. So I'm like, oh wow, what's going on? What happened? I got to remember that role play.
You feign surprise. You hide your
Right.
Yeah. So you're like, I did it. Oh no.
yeah, that would be feigning my involvement. Right. I feign that I did not do it.
Like in screenplays, it says feign in. No, okay. So you, So where to now? Just gonna go to your room?
Yeah. Well, let me go to Aldrich. Make sure he's all right, and kind of tell him that.
It's probably early afternoon now. You
Right. He might.
do need to grab a bite to eat. You, I don't know. I don't know if you would feel as though you don't want to involve, like you don't want anything on your.
True. Yeah. Okay. Then I'm just gonna go straight to my room, being like, "Wow,
you're sweet. You're sweet.
My sweet. That's right." Just ask, the maids, like, "Whoa, what's all this about? What's all this ruckus?"
You go through. There's additional guards at your door. They ask you, "Have you seen Captain HR? Report any sightings. Do not alert him to your presence. He's wanted for questioning." You're like, "I haven't." They let you pass. There's additional guards inside now, where there's just one guard, and then now there's 2 guards, and they're checking rooms that to be unoccupied.
Right.
And as you make it to your room, they stop you. They say, "Is this your room?" You say, "Yes." They say, "Please let us enter first." And you go in after them. They search the room. They say, "Does anything appear to be disturbed?" It looks fine to you. And off they go back to patrol.
CSI Karandrin.
They ask you to keep your doors locked while you're in your rooms. Also, your outer doors that lead out to the courtyard and stuff, like out to the outer thing. They say, for the time being, we must ask that you keep those locked and closed, as well as all windows. This is taking out several birds with this one complex stone.
Yeah. HR is now on the run. Goodness gracious. I
will.
I should have already had a holy lock cast on my door, but I'm just gonna recast it in a little higher level.
I mean, if it's still on, you want to cancel it? You mean? I see.
Yeah, cancel and recast it. Yeah, a little higher level, just to make sure. So, cast it at level 8.
All right, roll it up.
Boop. That's a 3. I was doing so well too. Getting greedy.
16 damage.
Hopefully no loud noise or anything.
No. There was a pal, but apparently they were at the other end. They did not hear it. You also lose 16 exhaustion.
Try that again.
16 damage, 16 exhaustion.
Boom. 52.
Okay.
I'll note that down. That's done.
You know, it is worth noting, right? Like, so it took you about 75 to get rid of Verilag. So
Mhm.
it does make sense that to get rid of Brashla and this single like little cult, 5, 6.
Right. It's like I'm good at this. I'm good at dishing it out to the evil guys.
It's about the same rate, right? I mean, given
Right.
the threat level, it's not bad.
Right.
Um,
Or, it's really funny, like, make like a campaign for Brise, like Brise the Adventurer. They took out Kralum, they took out Verlag and Brashla.
that's right.
Like, oh, I don't know who those first two people are, but Brashla was a dick. Yeah.
All
What
right.
will I be remembered for?
Um, there's a knock at your door. The voice of a serving girl.
Let them in.
Um, I heard of your return, my lady. Is there anything I can get you? You're like, yeah, I need some lunch. Whatever the
Yeah.
chef has on hand, go forth. Do you want to ask for information?
I will. Yeah, I do want to know about when did heard HR was gone, like what else happened, in this debacle, and do they know the reason why he left?
She looks up at you slyly. Says, "Oh, lady, I sure couldn't risk my position just spreading rumors. No, no, it would cost
I
so much.
think you can risk your position well enough, and I'll give her a silver.
Cost me.
I'll give her a silver.
That's a
Get
lot.
out of here. Okay, well, I don't want to deal with her, so I'll give her a silver. Generous.
She pushes past you, closes the door. She's like, well, and just goes on. And I rolled 2 double odds.
Oh my God, what is with our dice this session? Easy.
What I heard was that one of Lady Mia Graw's friends came up this morning escorted by priests. And apparently she's had an affair with HR. Now, HR
Hey, wait, whoa, whoa. Oh my God.
HR is a scandalous goblin who was captain of the evening guard at the front gate. Now, he's known to deal with unsavory figures and so on. And apparently, he had been having an affair with this friend and several other women of court. Now, yeah, and just goes on and on and on. But you do glean that they went to arrest HR. HR stabbed one of the paladins, threw another from the top of the battlements. In the confusion, he was lost. Um, they've been searching for a couple of hours now. Um, and there is mention that this friend of Mia Grawl's is now penniless because HR has cheated her out of all of her money, and is now going to stay as a guest and penitent, a penitent of the temples and a guest of Mia Grawl's here in the main keep, and that she's been given quarters, some of the nicer ones, and this, that, and the other. And there's word that, oh man, I've forgotten his name, her name. Oh, dang it. Um, the palace wizard, what's her name?
Fraldrim. Excuse me. Fraldrim.
Right. Is probably going to turn her into a toad. And if you know, and I mean, just goes on.
Probably could.
And you're like, man, the truth is this time not stranger than fiction. I got to say.
Yeah.
And there's some Dark Lord involved, and
what rumors are being passed around?
their name is Gordia, and that
I'm like trying not to correct her. I'm like, okay.
yeah. But you know, you got some
My
nuggets.
impatience is
Yeah, I know. You're like, give me that silverback. That was I'm gonna need it for doctor's bills.
terrible.
Oh, and did you see the note on your table? And da 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 da. And then off she goes, and she says, "I'll bring you lunch and some tea."
Okay.
And the note on your table is from Gedrick, and she made it back into town last night. And Chelbrick, she found frequent Algrit's principal city, where Algrit is stationed, which I'm going to give a name to now. That city is Haberzon, Habbrizon, Haberzon. I should just spell it for you on the chat. And he frequents the city, particularly the magic shops. There are 2 magic shops there.
Wait, Chelbrick? So is that who frequents the magic shop?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And is known to be at least an acquaintance of Tanzot, Albert's chief.
Wow.
But you know, it's interesting, right? You can have this whole setup as a powerful wizard, right? You have this whole setup in some obscure place.
Right.
You just visit civilized areas and make relationships. You never tell them where you're from. You never tell them what you're up to.
Right.
But now you've got these connections.
You even just have a disguise if you need to.
Yeah. I mean, but again, who's going to recognize you in the vetch? Nobody.
Right.
You know? And you could have, you know, especially as you see as, you know, well, as we all see from role playing, right? I mean, the adventurer's wealth is considerable. So they buy a cottage, right? They don't even bother defending it. They just buy a cottage. Right. You know, maybe you get some nice locks so at least you don't teleport into an, you know, where squatters are, you know. Right. And there's your little base of operations. Eat at the restaurant, spend as much time there as you want, accomplishing whatever purpose you want, making whatever relationships you want.
It's kind of like it's like Thoreau, you know, in Walden, where he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to live in this cottage, but you know, I'll go to town every day."
And his mother brought him meals every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
at least he stayed in the cottage then.
Yes, I mean, it was just within sight of his mother's house. How ridiculous is that? Brave Walden. Thoreau, I mean,
beautiful book, amazing writer, but
yeah, it's a bit of a cheat.
Yeah.
So what payment did you agree on with her, with Gedrick?
I already paid her up. Oh, well, no, I left a note for, I think, 25 gold pieces. I'll offer 5 gold pieces.
So she's paid. It wasn't like a date, is what I was checking on.
Yeah. So when I sent the note, I would have sent the money too.
All right.
That's great. Yeah, I don't think I need any more info from them. You know,
all right.
I see them again, I'll say job well done, but I don't need to respond.
Sure.
But that's really good. So I think we have a new lead. When I find some time, I'll. But you know what? I don't want to be seen in Algrit's. I have a note I remember because I'm associated with Miagral, and Algrit's her rival, so it's going to be difficult to spy on him there.
Well, I mean, yeah. Do you want to spy?
Right. Now, luckily, it's not really urgent. Like, since things are still kind of in the vetch, not on a perilous situation. So
It
I don't need
sounds
to think
like
about that.
it's information that Overdal needs more than you.
True, true. Then he could send people to investigate.
Right,
Okay.
because he could even, I mean, send word to Chelbrick. The Philistine aren't going to do it, right? They're not going to be the go-between. But Overdal could make overtures toward either Algred or Tanzot,
That's true.
and because it's not really, you're not ideally situated to approach any powerful wizard and claim anything,
Right.
demand anything.
Right. No, I
Uh,
was going to say just to try to get information on him and spy on him. But you're right. Overdall's in a better position to do that and to try to make, acquaintances.
right. The only thing I mean, so like you would have to offer Chelbrick something to change his mind. Like that would be ideal. You see what I
Mhm.
mean? And so
Right.
in that, whoa, you do have something you can offer.
The crossbow.
Yeah.
This is true. But, we don't know even how trustworthy this guy is. He could take the crossbow and then keep, doing whatever he's
I
doing
mean,
in the
that's
vet.
true, but I want you to keep it
If
in
it
mind.
comes down to it, yeah, I could. I do have a very there's an expression for that, right? It's like you have the bartering item that
An
will
ace in
the
the
trump
hole.
trump card. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trump card. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
um, and maybe, yeah, that's interesting. So do you meet with Overdal, show him the crossbow, give him charge of the crossbow, and then he can maybe take it to Tanzot and gauge Shelbrick's interest and trustworthiness.
Right.
And then if he turns his back or even betrays the Philistine, you know, um, I don't know. I mean, there's some possibilities there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
um, well, is this a good stopping point? We're stopping you on.
Yeah, I think so. 9 o'clock. So we'll I've written this down. I'll maybe think on this too and see what next
Right,
course of action there would be.
right.
But yeah, regarding HR and Brashla and Leb, all that stuff seems nicely wrapped up.
Yeah. So it's
I believe.
noon on the 31st.
Hmm.
On May 31st, temperatures are warming. Streams are getting fuller and fuller now as the snows continue to melt from the mid reaches. Um, and and we will meet next. We're next Thursday, right?
Uh,
Or is it start of Wednesdays?
Next Thursday, because that'd be the 30th.
Okay, right. So we're gonna get the April schedule up soon. Just to let everybody know, it's gonna be all Wednesdays, every Wednesday in April, just because of
All
time.
18 of them.
That's right. Wait, I like that. There's this. Wait, no, I was gonna do this. Make him self conscious. Hang on. Come on. There we go.
What? No, I
Oh,
don't.
it's there. It is. I like doing that. Okay.
I don't like being big.
I don't like being big.
I also
So
don't like being hidden by words. There we go.
I know
Thank you.
it's exciting. So yeah, so next Thursday, and then we'll do a month of not really a month of that's a different expression, but all April will be all Wednesdays, just for various travel reasons and so on. Here is our, like I said, our second anniversary already, and
Yeah.
and looking forward to year three. Um, so. So join us next Thursday. We'll continue this and the shakeout from the collapse of the cult of the Iron Empress. We'll also see what lies in terms of discovering more about the sorcerer of Chelbrick in the rugged, hilly area called the Vetch. But thanks to everyone who keeps us troop leaders excluded.
I'm not sure again. Quinn, I think, is getting sleepy. I'm not. I'm understanding his jokes
Oh,
less and less.
it's
He said,
it's from Thoreau. It's a reference to our Thoreau conversation.
"Oh, okay. Well,
Uh,
no, right." But I just don't like what. And now
uh,
he says, "Do you understand that he barely wants to be him?"
I assume that's a reference to you. But thanks to everybody who watches, and we appreciate your support. If you think you were doing a good job, hop to donorbox.org. You see the link right there, and you can send us a little love. If you want to see more of Max, and I encourage that, then he has his own YouTube channel where he discusses the role of music and original soundtracks in video games. Thanks as always to Elliot Dunovitz for their terrific character art that we use every stream. If you like their work, you can find more of it at artstation.com/Tortalua. I've written a novel called A Shore Too Far that you can find on Amazon and in paperback. So hop over there and check it out. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed writing it. Max, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around with us, and yeah, I can't wait to see you next week and see what happens next.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye bye, guys.